She finds the old woman on the bathroom floor at 4 in the morning. No pulse. Skin already cooling. The housekeeper kneels beside her, checks again, then reaches for the phone with steady hands. She dials emergency services first. Then she dials the son. He answers on the second ring. His voice is alert despite the hour. "Your mother," she says. "I'm sorry." There's silence. Then a single word. "When?" "Within the last hour." "The ambulance is coming." He hangs up without another word. She stays on the floor beside the body until she hears the sirens. The old woman's face is peaceful. Her hand is still warm where the housekeeper holds it. She doesn't let go until the paramedics arrive. The son arrives 20 minutes after they've taken the body. He stands in the doorway of the empty bedroom, his hand on the frame. He's younger than she expected. 35, maybe 40. Expensive suit despite the hour. Dark glasses covering his eyes even though it's still night outside. "Tell me what happened," he says. She describes finding his mother. The position of the body. The temperature of the skin. The absence of breathing. She keeps her voice level and provides details in order. He listens without interrupting. "You called immediately," he says. "Yes." "Why were you awake?" "I check on her twice during the night. Always at midnight and 4. She never mentioned that. She didn't know. She was a heavy sleeper." He turns his head slightly toward her. The dark glasses make it impossible to tell where he's looking. After a moment, he nods once. "The police will want to speak with you," he says. "I understand." He leaves the room without another word. She hears him moving through the house. Opening doors. Touching walls. His movements are precise despite the darkness and his obvious blindness. He knows this house. He grew up here. The police arrive at dawn. 2 detectives. They ask her the same questions the son asked. She gives them the same answers. They seem satisfied but leave a card anyway. "Just routine," the older one says. "Natural causes, most likely. But we'll need the autopsy results." After they leave, she begins cleaning the bathroom where she found the body. The son appears in the doorway while she's scrubbing the floor. "You don't need to do that," he says. "The house needs to be maintained. The house is being sold." She stops scrubbing. Slowly, she stands. "When?" "As soon as the estate is settled." 2 weeks. Maybe 3. He walks past her into the bathroom. His hand trails along the counter until he finds the sink. He turns on the water and listens to it run. "My mother spoke about you," he says. "In her letters." "She wrote to you?" "Every week. For 5 years." He turns off the water. "She said you were the best housekeeper she'd ever had. Quiet. Efficient. Trustworthy." There's something in his voice that makes her wary. Not quite suspicion. Not quite curiosity. Something else. "She was kind to say so. She also said you had no references when she hired you. No previous addresses. No family contacts." The temperature in the room seems to drop. She sets down her cleaning supplies carefully. "Your mother understood that some people need privacy." Privacy. He repeats the word like he's testing its weight. An interesting choice of words. He moves toward her. Not threatening. Just deliberate. He stops 3 feet away. Close enough that she can smell his cologne. Something expensive and subtle. "My mother's lawyer will contact you about your final payment," he says. "And a small bequest. She was fond of you." "That's generous." "Yes." He tilts his head slightly. "It is." He leaves the bathroom. She listens to his footsteps fade down the hallway. After a moment, she picks up her supplies and continues cleaning. The funeral is small. 15 people, most of them elderly neighbors. The son stands at the front of the chapel with his hand on the closed casket. The housekeeper sits in the back row. She notices he never cries. He also never removes his dark glasses. During the reception at the house, she serves coffee and arranges flowers. The son's business associate arrives late. A man in his 50s with silver hair and cold eyes. He shakes the son's hand and speaks quietly in his ear. The son's expression doesn't change, but his jaw tightens. After everyone leaves, the business associate stays behind. She's in the kitchen washing dishes when she hears raised voices from the study. "You promised me 3 months ago." That's the associate. "The circumstances have changed." The son's voice is calmer but hard. "Your circumstances are not my problem. My clients are waiting. Then they'll have to wait longer." There's a pause. Then the sound of something heavy being set down on a desk. "Be very careful," the associate says. "You're not the only person who can provide what we need. Then find someone else." Footsteps. The study door opens. The associate walks past the kitchen without looking at her. The front door slams a moment later. She finishes the dishes in silence. When she returns to the study with fresh coffee, the son is sitting behind the desk with his head in his hands. He straightens when he hears her footsteps. "Leave it on the desk," he says. She sets down the tray. As she turns to go, he speaks again. "How long were you with my mother?" 3 years. "And before that?" She hesitates. "Various positions. Hotels. Private homes. No references." "As I said. People who need privacy usually have something to hide." She meets his unseeing gaze. "Everyone has something to hide." He almost smiles. "Yes. They do." Over the next week, people come and go from the house. Estate appraisers. Real estate agents. Lawyers with briefcases full of documents. The son meets with each of them in the study. The housekeeper continues her work, maintaining rooms that will soon belong to someone else. She's in the old woman's bedroom when she finds the letters. They're in a shoebox at the back of the closet, wrapped in a faded ribbon. She recognizes the handwriting on the envelopes. The son's handwriting. 5 years of weekly correspondence, just as he said. She shouldn't read them. She knows this. But she opens one anyway. The letter is dated 4 years ago. The writing is neat, controlled. "Mother. The doctors say the treatment is working. I've regained some light perception in my right eye. It's not much, but it's progress. The lawyer handling the lawsuit says we have a strong case. The company that manufactured the chemical solvent will settle. They always do. I'm glad you've found a competent housekeeper. You deserve to be looked after properly. Make sure she understands about your medication schedule. The pills next to your bed are critical. Never miss a dose. I'll visit next month if work allows. Marcus." She replaces the letter carefully. Then she closes the box and returns it to the closet. That night, she goes to the medicine cabinet in the master bathroom. The old woman's prescriptions are still there. She reads the labels. Blood pressure medication. Thyroid supplements. Nothing unusual. Nothing critical. But there had been another bottle. She remembers it clearly. A small amber bottle with a white cap, kept on the nightstand. She'd seen the old woman take a pill from it every night before bed. That bottle is gone now. She searches the bedroom carefully. The nightstand drawers. The bathroom. The waste baskets. Nothing. She's about to give up when she notices something. A faint white powder residue on the nightstand's surface. She touches it with her fingertip. Brings it close to her nose. No smell. She touches it to her tongue carefully. Bitter. Chemical. She wipes her finger clean and returns downstairs. The son is in the library, listening to an audiobook. She knocks on the door frame. Yes? I'm inventorying your mother's medications. For the estate records. There was a prescription bottle on her nightstand. I can't find it now. He pauses the audiobook. What kind of medication? I don't know. She never told me. But she took it every night. My mother had several prescriptions. The doctors can provide records if the estate needs them. Of course. She doesn't move. Did you remove anything from her room after she died? The silence stretches. When he speaks again, his voice is very quiet. Why would I do that? I'm not suggesting anything. I'm only trying to be thorough. Thoroughness is admirable. He stands. But sometimes curiosity crosses into territory that isn't safe. He walks toward her. Stops close. Too close. My mother died of natural causes, he says. The coroner confirmed it. Heart failure. She was 83 years old. I know. Do you? He tilts his head. Because the way you're asking questions makes me wonder what you think you know. She holds her ground. I think your mother was a kind woman who trusted the people around her. Yes. She was. He reaches past her and pulls the library door closed. She was also naive. She believed the best of people. Even when she shouldn't have. And you don't. No. I don't. He steps back. I've learned to verify trust. And right now, I'm wondering why a housekeeper with no references is asking questions about medications that don't concern her. They concern me if something was wrong. Nothing was wrong. My mother died peacefully in her sleep. You found her. You called for help. You did everything correctly. His voice hardens. So unless you have evidence suggesting otherwise, I'd recommend you focus on your remaining duties and stop inventing problems. She studies his face. The dark glasses. The tight jaw. The carefully controlled posture. You're right, she says finally. I'm sorry for overstepping. She leaves the library. Behind her, she hears him exhale slowly. The business associate returns 3 days later. This time he doesn't wait to be invited in. He pushes past her at the door and heads straight to the study. She follows at a distance. We need to talk. The associate's voice carries down the hallway. Then talk. Not here. Somewhere private. This is private. Your housekeeper is standing in the hall. There's a pause. Then the son's voice, louder now. She can hear from the kitchen as easily as from the hall. If you have something to say, say it. She moves away from the door. Returns to the kitchen. But she leaves the door slightly ajar. The shipment was supposed to arrive last week. The associate's voice is strained. My clients are becoming impatient. Then they'll have to remain impatient. I told you, the circumstances have changed. Your mother's death doesn't change our agreement. It changes everything. There's movement. The creak of a chair. I don't have access to the distribution network anymore. Without her connections. You're telling me you can't deliver? I'm telling you it will take time to rebuild. Time we don't have. A hand slaps wood. The desk, probably. Do you understand what happens if we default on this contract? I understand perfectly. But threatening me won't change the reality. Then unchange it. Figure it out. Because if you don't, the people I work for will assume you're either incompetent or playing them. And neither assumption ends well for you. The study door opens. The associate storms out. He sees her in the kitchen and stops. You. He points at her. How long have you worked here? 3 years. You know the old woman's routines. Her contacts. Who came to the house. I kept the household running. Nothing more. He studies her. Then he reaches into his jacket and pulls out a business card. Walks to the kitchen and sets it on the counter. If you remember anything useful, he says, call me. There's money in it. He leaves without waiting for a response. She looks at the card. A name. A phone number. Nothing else. She tears it in half and drops it in the trash. That night, she can't sleep. She lies in her small room on the 3rd floor and stares at the ceiling. The house creaks around her. Old wood settling. Pipes expanding and contracting. Sounds she's heard 1,000 times before. But tonight they sound different. Tonight they sound like footsteps. She gets out of bed and moves to the window. The street below is empty. A single streetlight casts long shadows across the pavement. A car is parked 2 houses down. She watches it for several minutes. No movement. She's about to return to bed when she sees someone in the driver's seat. Just a silhouette. But definitely a person. She watches for another 5 minutes. The person doesn't move. She closes the curtain and gets dressed. Jeans. A dark sweater. Soft-soled shoes. Then she slips out of her room and down the back stairs to the kitchen. The house is dark. She moves through it carefully, using the ambient light from the street lamps outside. She's done this before. Many times. She knows every creaking board, every loose floorboard. She's approaching the study when she hears it. The soft click of a door closing. She freezes. Someone else is awake. She presses herself against the wall and waits. Footsteps move through the dining room. Pause. Then continue toward the kitchen. The son appears in the doorway. He's fully dressed. His hand trails along the wall as he walks. He stops suddenly. I know you're there, he says quietly. She doesn't respond. I can hear you breathing. He turns his head toward her. Why are you awake? She considers lying. Decides against it. There's a car outside. Someone's been watching the house for the past 30 minutes. His expression doesn't change, but his shoulders tense. What kind of car? Dark sedan. I can't see the plates from this angle. He moves past her to the window. Lifts the edge of the curtain with one finger. Stands there silently. They've been watching for 3 nights, he says finally. You knew. I suspected. He drops the curtain. My mother's business associates aren't known for their patience. What kind of business was she in? He turns to face her fully. In the dim light, his expression is unreadable. The kind that doesn't appear in obituaries. He tilts his head. You really don't know? I kept her house. I wasn't privy to her personal affairs. No. I suppose you weren't. He's quiet for a moment. My mother brokered pharmaceutical shipments. Legal ones, mostly. Some gray market items for overseas clients. Nothing that would attract serious attention. But her contact network was valuable. And now that she's gone, people are scrambling to fill the vacuum. The associate who came here. He's one of them. Yes. And he's not the only one. He moves away from the window. Which is why you need to leave. Tomorrow. I'll write you a reference. Give you 6 months severance. But you need to be gone before this escalates. What about you? I can handle myself. You're blind. His jaw tightens. Thank you for that observation. I didn't mean. I know what you meant. He cuts her off. And you're right. I have a disadvantage. But I also have resources you don't see. Lawyers. Security personnel. Connections of my own. I'll manage. She watches him. Sees the tension in his shoulders. The way his fingers grip the window frame. You're afraid, she says quietly. Of course I'm afraid. I'm not stupid. He releases the frame. But fear doesn't change what needs to be done. I inherited this mess. I have to clean it up. By yourself. Yes. She's quiet for a long moment. Then she makes a decision. I'm not leaving tomorrow. He turns sharply. That's not a request. I understand. But I'm staying anyway. Why? Because your mother was kind to me when no one else would be. And because you're going to get yourself killed if you try to handle this alone. He laughs. It's a harsh sound. You think you can protect me? I think I'm more observant than you give me credit for. Observant. He says it like he's tasting the word. What have you observed? That your mother didn't die of natural causes. The silence that follows is absolute. She can hear her own heartbeat. When he speaks again, his voice is very soft. Explain. The medication she took every night. The bottle that disappeared. The powder residue on her nightstand. And the timing, she died 3 days after your last argument with the associate. That's speculation. Is it? He doesn't answer. His hands have formed fists at his sides. If you had proof, he says carefully, what would you do with it? Nothing. Unless you asked me to. Why? Because proof without power is just information. And information without context is dangerous. He considers this. Then he nods slowly. All right. You can stay. For now. He moves toward the door. Stops. But understand something. If you're lying to me, if you're working with them, I will find out. And I won't be forgiving. I'm not working with anyone. Everyone works for someone. He leaves the kitchen. She stands in the darkness for a long time after he's gone. The next morning, a different car appears across the street. This one is white. 2 people inside. They don't try to hide. They sit there openly, watching the house. The son notices when he leaves for his office. She watches from the window as he pauses on the front steps. His head turns toward the car. After a moment, he continues down to his own vehicle. A sleek black sedan with a driver waiting. She spends the morning cleaning rooms that are already clean. Dusting furniture that will be sold. It's busy work, but it keeps her hands occupied. At noon, the doorbell rings. She opens it to find a woman in her 40s. Well-dressed. Professional. A leather portfolio under her arm. I'm here to see Marcus Ashford, the woman says. He's not home. I'll wait. The woman steps inside without being invited. You must be the housekeeper his mother mentioned. She spoke about me? In her last letter. She said you were extremely capable. The woman's eyes are sharp. Assessing. I'm Claire Novak. I handled Mrs. Ashford's legal affairs. The estate lawyer came last week. I'm not that kind of lawyer. Claire sets her portfolio on the hall table. I'm the kind who handles problems that don't go to court. She leads Claire to the sitting room. Offers tea. Claire accepts. While the water boils, she studies Claire through the kitchen doorway. The woman is examining the room with a practiced eye. Not looking at the furniture. Looking at the angles. The sight lines. The exits. When she returns with the tea, Claire is standing by the window. The surveillance started 4 days ago, Claire says without preamble. First the dark sedan. Then the white car. Tomorrow it will be a van or a motorcycle. They rotate vehicles to avoid being obvious. You know who they are. I know who sent them. Claire accepts the tea. Marcus is in over his head. His mother understood the balance required to operate in that space. She knew when to compromise and when to hold firm. Marcus only knows how to hold firm. He's protecting her legacy. He's protecting his pride. Claire sips her tea. And pride gets people killed. Is that why you're here? To convince him to compromise? I'm here because his mother asked me to look after him if anything happened to her. Claire sets down her cup. She was worried. In her last letter, she mentioned concerns about her health. About pressure from business associates. About feeling unsafe in her own home. She never mentioned any of that to me. No. She wouldn't have. Claire's expression softened slightly. She wanted you insulated. Protected. She knew what kind of attention her work attracted. What kind of work was it, exactly? The kind that requires discretion. Claire stands. When Marcus returns, tell him I need to speak with him. Urgently. He has my number. After Claire leaves, she goes to the study. Opens the desk drawers carefully. She's not sure what she's looking for. Evidence. Answers. Understanding. She finds a ledger in the bottom drawer. Handwritten entries. Dates. Locations. Amounts. It takes her a moment to understand what she's looking at. Shipment records. Pharmaceutical shipments. But the quantities are wrong. Too large for personal use. Too frequent for legitimate medical purposes. She photographs several pages with her phone. Then she replaces the ledger exactly as she found it. That evening, the son returns home late. She's preparing dinner when he enters the kitchen. Claire Novak was here, she says. He stops. What did she want? To speak with you. She said it was urgent. Everything is urgent according to Claire. He moves to the sink. Washes his hands with practiced ease. Did she say anything else? That your mother was worried before she died. About her health. About business pressure. His hands still under the water. My mother worried about many things. She felt unsafe in her own home. He turns off the water. Reaches for the towel. His movements are deliberate. Controlled. My mother, he says quietly, was 83 years old. She'd outlived her husband, most of her friends, and her own expectations for her life. Toward the end, she was fragile. Paranoid. She saw threats where none existed. Or she saw threats that were very real. He hangs up the towel. You're relentless. Has anyone told you that? Once or twice. He almost smiles. My mother liked that about you. She said you reminded her of herself when she was younger. Is that a compliment? I'm not sure. He leans against the counter. My mother was capable of extraordinary kindness. She was also capable of extraordinary ruthlessness. The two weren't mutually exclusive in her world. What world was that? One where the rules are negotiable and loyalty is a currency. He straightens. I'm going to call Claire. While I do, I suggest you consider very carefully what you want from this situation. I don't want anything. Everyone wants something. The question is whether you're aware of what it is. He leaves the kitchen. She hears him climb the stairs to his study. She finishes preparing dinner. Sets 2 places at the dining table. Waits. He doesn't come down. After an hour, she covers his plate and puts it in the refrigerator. Then she climbs to the 3rd floor and locks herself in her room. I can handle myself. Easily. You're she blind. Lies awake, listening to the his sounds of the house. Thank you for that observation. Midnight, she hears a car door close outside. I know what you meant. On the sidewalk. He cuts her
They
off.
pause at the front gate.
And you're right.
Then continue past.
I have a disadvantage.
She gets up and looks
But
out
I
the window.
also have resources you don't
The
see.
street is empty.
Lawyers.
The surveillance cars
Security
are gone.
personnel. That should
Connections
be comforting.
of my own.
Instead,
I'll
it
manage.
fills her with unease. She watches him.
She's about to return to bed
Sees the
when she
tension
sees
in his
movement
shoulders.
in the garden below.
The way his
A
fingers
figure
grip the
barely
window frame.
visible in the shadows.
You're afraid,
She
moving
says
toward the
quietly.
back of the house.
Of course I'm afraid.
She doesn't think. I'm not stupid.
She grabs her phone and
He
runs.
releases the frame, down the back
But
stairs.
fear doesn't change what needs to
through
be
the
done.
kitchen.
I
She
inherited
unlocks
this mess.
the door to the garden as
I have to
quietly
clean
as
it up.
possible. By yourself.
Slips outside.
Yes.
The night air is cold.
She's quiet for a long moment.
She's barefoot, still in her
Then she
sleep
makes
clothes.
a decision.
She moves
I'm not
along the
leaving
side
tomorrow.
of the house, using the shadows
He turns
for cover.
sharply.
The
That's
figure
not
is
a
at the back
request.
door now.
I understand.
Trying the handle, but I'm staying
It's
anyway.
locked. Why?
She watches as the figure
Because
produces
your mother was
something
kind
from
to
their
me
pocket
when
no one else would be.
A tool of some kind.
And because you're going to get yourself
she should
killed
go back
if you try to
inside.
handle this alone. Wake the sun.
He laughs.
Call the police.
It's a harsh sound.
Instead, she
You
picks
think you
up a
can
garden
protect
stake
me?
leaning against the wall.
I think I'm more observant than you
Moves
give me
closer.
credit for.
The figure gets
Observant.
the door open.
He says it like
Starts
he's
to
tasting
step
the word.
inside. What
She
have you
doesn't give them
observed?
the chance. That your mother
She
didn't
swings
die
the
of
stake
natural
hard,
causes.
connecting with the back of the figure's
silence
head.
that follows is absolute.
There's a dull thud. She can hear
The
her
figure
own heartbeat.
staggers.
When he
Turns.
speaks again, his voice
It's
is
the
very
associate.
soft. His
Explain.
eyes widen when he sees her.
The medication she took
You,
every night.
he says. The bottle
She
that
hits him
disappeared.
again.
The
This
powder
time he
residue
goes down.
on her nightstand.
She stands over
And
him,
the timing,
breathing
she
hard.
died 3 days
The
after your
stake is
last
still in her
argument with the
hands.
associate.
He's conscious
That's
but
speculation.
dazed. Is
Blood
it?
trickles from a cut above
He
his
doesn't
ear.
answer.
Stay down,
His hands
she
have
says.
formed
fists at his sides.
He laughs.
If you
It's
had
a
proof,
weak sound.
he says carefully, what
You
would
have
you do
no
with
idea
it?
what you've just done.
Nothing.
I stopped a
Unless you
break-in.
asked me to.
You stopped a business
Why?
transaction.
Because proof without
tries
power
to
is
sit
just
up.
information.
She raises
And
the stake.
information without context
He
is
freezes.
dangerous.
He owes
He
us.
considers this. He can't pay.
Then he nods slowly.
So we came to collect.
all right.
By breaking
You
into
can
his
stay.
house.
For
By
now.
taking what we're owed.
He moves toward the door.
Documents.
Stops.
Contacts. But
The
understand
network his
something.
mother built.
If you're lying
That's
to
not
me,
how this
if you're
works.
working with them, I will find
It's
out.
exactly how this works.
And I won't be forgiving.
He wipes blood from
I'm not
his
working
face.
with anyone.
You think he's
Everyone
innocent in
works
this?
for someone. He knew what
He
his
leaves
mother
the
was
kitchen.
doing.
She
He
stands in the
benefited from
darkness
it for a long time
and
after
now he's
trying to
gone.
walk away like his hands
The
are
next
clean.
morning, a different car
The back
appears
door
across the
opens.
street.
The
This
sun
one is
stands
white.
there, his hand on the
Two
frame.
people inside.
He's wearing
They
pajamas.
don't try to hide.
No
They
glasses.
sit there openly, watching
His
the
eyes
house.
are clouded, but they're
The
open.
sun notices when he leaves
What's
for his
happening?
office.
He asks quietly.
She watches from the
An
window
intruder,
as he
she
pauses on the
says.
front steps.
I stopped him.
His head turns toward
The
the car.
son steps outside carefully.
After a moment, he continues
his bare
down
feet
to his
find
own
the
vehicle.
grass. A
He
sleek
moves
black
toward
sedan
them
with
with
one
the driver
hand
waiting.
extended. She
Who
spends
is
the
it?
morning cleaning rooms
Your
that are
business
already
associate.
clean.
The
Dusting
sun
furniture
stops.
that will be sold.
Richard,
It's busy work.
Hello,
but it keeps her
Marcus.
hands occupied. The associate
At
or
noon,
Richard, the doorbell
sounds
rings.
tired.
She
I was
opens
hoping
it
to
to
find
avoid
a
this.
woman in her 40s.
By breaking into my home.
Well-dressed.
By reclaiming what your
Professional.
mother stole from us.
A leather portfolio
My
under
mother
her
didn't
arm.
steal anything.
I'm here to see
She
Marcus
took payment
Ashford,
for services
the woman
she
says.
never delivered.
He's not
She
home.
promised access to
I'll
distribution
wait.
channels that no longer
The woman
exist.
steps inside without
She
being
built her
invited.
reputation on our money
You
and then
must
tried
be
to
the
keep it all
housekeeper
when
his
she
mother
retired.
mentioned. That's
She
not
spoke
true.
about me, isn't it?
In her last letter,
Richard finally manages
she
to
said
sit
you were
up fully.
extremely capable. Ask your housekeeper.
The woman's eyes are sharp.
Ask her why she's really
Assessing.
here. The sun
I'm Claire
turns his
Novak.
clouded eyes toward her.
I handled Mrs.
What does
Ashford's
he
legal
mean?
affairs.
I don't know.
The estate lawyer came
Don't
last
lie
week.
to him.
I'm
Richard's
not that kind
voice
of lawyer.
is stronger now.
Claire sets
She
her
knows
portfolio
exactly
on the
what I
hall
mean.
table. She
I'm
was
the
here
kind who
before your
handles
mother
problems
died.
that don't go to court.
She had access to
She
everything.
leads Claire to the sitting room.
The house.
Offers tea.
The records. Claire accepts.
Your mother's medication. While the water boils,
Understanding
she studies
crosses
Claire
the
through
son's
the kitchen
face.
doorway.
No.
The woman is examining
She's
the room
not
with
who
a
she
practiced
claims to
eye.
be.
Not
She's
looking
never
at the
been just a
furniture.
housekeeper.
Looking at
The
the
sun
angles.
is very still.
The sight lines.
Is that true?
The exits.
She doesn't answer immediately.
When she returns with the tea,
Can't
Claire
answer.
is standing by the window.
Because the truth is
The surveillance
complicated
started
and
4
dangerous
days ago
and would change
Claire
everything.
says without preamble.
I came here to work.
First the
she
dark
says
sedan.
finally. Then the
Nothing
white car.
more. But
Tomorrow,
you stayed for
it will be a
different
van
reasons,
or a
Richard
motorcycle.
says.
They
Didn't
rotate
you?
vehicles to avoid
The
being
son
obvious.
takes a step toward her.
You know who they are.
Tell me the truth.
I know who sent
right
them.
now.
Claire
She
accepts
looks at
the
him.
tea. At
Marcus
his face,
isn't over his
vulnerable
head.
without the dark glasses.
His mother understood the balance
At his bare
required to
feet
operate
on the
in
cold
that
grass.
space.
At
She
the way
knew when
he's
to
holding
compromise
himself
and when to
tense
hold
and
firm.
afraid and trying not to
Marcus
show it.
only knows how to hold
Your
firm.
mother hired me 3 years
He's
ago.
protecting
She
her
says
legacy.
quietly. He's
No
protecting his
references.
pride. No
Claire
background
sips her
check.
tea.
She
And
asked me
pride
3
gets
people
questions.
killed. Could
Is
I
that
keep
why
a
you're
house?
here?
Could
To
I
convince
keep him
a
to
secret?
compromise? And could I
I'm
keep my
here
distance
because his
when
mother
necessary?
asked me to look after him if
And you
anything
said
happened
yes
to her.
to all 3.
Claire sets down
Yes.
her cup.
Why?
She was worried.
Because I needed
In
a
her
place
last
where
letter,
no one would look
she
for
mentioned
me.
concerns about her
The
health.
silence stretches.
About pressure from business
Richard watches
associates.
them both with calculating
About
eyes.
feeling unsafe in her
Who's
own
looking
home.
for you? The son asks.
She never mentioned any of that to
People
me.
who ask the kind of questions
No.
that don't have safe answers.
She wouldn't have.
He absorbs
Claire's
this.
expression softens slightly.
Are you working for them? She wanted you insulated. Are you working for
Protected.
Richard's organization?
She knew what kind of attention
No.
her work attracted.
Then who are you working for?
What kind of work was it?
No
exactly.
one. Not
The kind that
anymore.
requires discretion.
She sets down the garden
Claire
stake.
stands.
I told you
When
the
Marcus
truth about
returns,
finding your
tell
mother.
him I need to speak with him.
About calling for help.
Urgently.
About
He
everything
has my
that
number.
happened that night.
After
But
Claire
you
leaves,
were right earlier.
she goes to the study.
I am hiding
Opens
something.
the desk drawers carefully.
I'm hiding myself.
She's not sure what she's
From
looking
what?
for.
From a life
Evidence.
that required me to do things I'm
Answers.
not proud of.
Understanding.
Richard laughs. She finds a ledger in the
touching.
bottom drawer. The reformed criminal
Handwritten
playing
entries.
house while an old woman dies
Dates.
mysteriously in her sleep.
Locations.
The son's head snaps
Amounts.
toward Richard. It takes her a
Shut
moment
up.
to understand what she's
I'm
looking
just
at.
stating facts.
Shipment records.
Your housekeeper shows up
Pharmaceutical
with no past.
shipments. Your mother
But the
dies with
quantities are
mysterious
wrong.
medication in her system.
Too large for personal use.
And now you're alone in a house
Too
with someone you
frequent
can't
for
even
legitimate
see.
medical purposes.
Do you really think that's
She
coincidence?
photographs several pages with
If
her
she
phone.
wanted to hurt me, she's
Then
had
she
plenty of
replaces the
opportunity.
ledger exactly as she
Maybe
found
she's
it.
waiting for something.
That evening, the son
Access to
returns home
accounts.
late. She's
Passwords.
preparing dinner when he enters the
The
kitchen.
location of your mother's backup
Claire
records.
Novak was here, she says.
I said shut up.
He stops.
The son's voice is
What
cold
did
now.
she want?
Dangerous.
To speak with you.
Richard
She
stands
said it was
slowly.
urgent.
I'm leaving.
Everything is urgent according
but this
to Claire.
isn't finished. He moves to the
You owe
sink.
us, Marcus.
Washes his hands
And
with
one way
practiced
or
ease.
another, we'll collect.
Did she say anything
Get
else?
out of my garden.
That your mother was
Richard
worried
walks
before
past
she
them
died.
to the back gate.
About her health.
Opens it.
About
Looks
business
back
pressure.
once.
His
You should
hands
ask
still
her
under
about
the
water.
medication, he says.
My mother worried about many
about
things.
why the bottle disappeared.
She felt unsafe
About
in her
who
own
had
home.
the most to gain from your mother's
He turns
death.
off the water.
Then he's gone.
Reaches for the towel.
The son and the
His
housekeeper
movements are
stand in the
deliberate.
garden in silence.
Controlled.
The night air
My
is
mother,
very cold
he
now.
says quietly, was 83
She can see
years
her
old.
breath.
She'd
Did you kill
outlived
my
her
mother?
husband,
He asks
most of her
finally,
friends,
and her own
No.
expectations for her life.
Did you know she was going
Toward
to die?
the end, she was fragile.
No.
Do you know who
Paranoid.
did? She
She's
saw threats
quiet
where
for a
none
long
existed.
moment.
Or
I
she
have
saw threats that were
suspicions.
very real.
Based on what?
He hangs up the towel.
Based on the medication
You're
that
relentless.
disappeared.
Has
Based on
anyone
the
told you
timing.
that? Based
Once
on the way
or
your
twice.
business associates have been
He
acting
almost
since she died.
smiles.
He
My mother
processes
liked that
this.
about you.
You think
They
she
killed
said you
her.
reminded her of herself
I
when
think
she
they
was
had
younger.
motive. Is that
She
a
was
compliment?
retiring.
I'm not
Closing
sure.
down the network. He leans against
That
the
made
counter.
her a liability.
My mother was
Or
capable
an
of
opportunity.
extraordinary kindness. If they could control her
She was
son.
also capable of extraordinary
Yes.
ruthlessness.
He turns toward the house.
two weren't mutually exclusive
His
in her
hand
world.
finds the wall.
What world
He
was that?
follows it back to the door.
One where the rules are
Come
negotiable
inside,
and
he
loyalty
says.
is a currency.
We need to talk
He
properly.
straightens.
She follows
I'm going
him
to
in.
call Claire.
He leads her
While
to the
I do,
study.
I suggest you consider
Gestures
very
for her to
carefully
sit.
what you want from this situation.
He takes the chair behind the desk.
I don't want
his
anything.
mother's chair and folds his
Everyone
hands.
wants something.
Tell me
The
everything.
question is whether
he
you're
says.
aware of what it is.
From the beginning.
He leaves the kitchen.
So she does.
She hears him climb
She
the stairs
tells him
to
about
his
the
study.
life she left behind.
She finishes preparing
Work that
dinner.
required discretion and
Sets
moral
2
flexibility.
places at the dining table.
About making a mistake that
Waits.
put her at risk. He doesn't come
About
down.
needing to disappear.
After an hour,
She
tells
covers
him
his
about
plate
answering
and
his
puts it in
mother's
the refrigerator.
advertisement. Then
About
she
the
climbs to
interview
the
where
third
his mother
floor
looked at
and
her
locks
and
herself in
somehow
her
understood
room.
everything without being told.
She tells him about the 3 years of quiet work. Of watching his mother navigate her business with careful intelligence. Of learning the rhythms of the house and the patterns of visitors who came and went.
She tells him about noticing changes in the last 6 months. His mother becoming more careful. More secretive. The way she would sometimes stop mid-sentence and look at the windows like she was checking for surveillance. She tells him about the medication bottle. About seeing his mother take those pills every night. About the bottle vanishing after she died. And she tells him about the powder residue. About testing it herself. About recognizing the bitter taste of something that didn't belong in an elderly woman's bedside medication. When she finishes, he's quiet for a long time. The autopsy showed heart failure, he says finally. Some poisons mimic natural causes. Especially in elderly patients with existing conditions. You think it was deliberate? I think it's possible. Who? Richard? Maybe. Or someone he works for. He leans back in the chair. His clouded eyes stare at nothing. I need proof, he says. Real proof. Not suspicions. The bottle is gone. The body has been cremated. There's no physical evidence. Then we create new evidence. He straightens. We draw them out. Make them think they're winning. Let them feel comfortable enough to make a mistake. That's dangerous. Everything is dangerous now. He stands. Moves to the window. They want my mother's network. Fine. I'll give it to them. Or make them think I'm giving it to them. And then? Then we see what they do with it. Who they contact. What information they try to verify. He turns back toward her. You said you worked in intelligence before. Did you ever run an operation? Not alone. But you understand the principles. Yes. Good. Because I'm going to need help. Claire can't do this, she's too visible. Richard already suspects you, which actually works in our favor. If he thinks you're a threat, he'll focus on you instead of the trap. What trap? He smiles. It's not a pleasant expression. The kind where they reveal themselves completely. Over the next 3 days, they prepare. The son contacts Richard and tells him he's willing to negotiate. A meeting is arranged. Neutral territory. Richard suggests a restaurant. The son counters with his lawyer's office. They compromise on a coffee shop downtown. She watches the meeting from across the street. Claire is there too, sitting in a car 2 blocks away. They both have earpieces. The son is wearing a wire. The conversation is brief. Richard presents a proposal. The son asks questions. Takes notes. Promises to consider the terms. When the meeting ends, Richard looks satisfied. He bought it, Claire says over the radio. They'll make their move soon. She's right. 2 days later, a new surveillance team appears. Not across the street this time. In a van parked in the alley behind the house. Professional. Careful. They're watching the back entrance to the study. The son maintains his routine. Goes to the office. Returns home. Holds meetings with his lawyer. Everything appears normal. But at night, they work. She photographs every page of his mother's ledgers. Documents the network of contacts and distributors. Creates a comprehensive map of the operation. Then she starts changing things. Subtle alterations. Dates shifted by a day. Quantities adjusted slightly. New names added to the contact list, names that lead nowhere. It has to look real, the son says. But it needs to fall apart when they try to use it. It will. These changes are small enough that they won't notice until they're already committed. And when they notice, then they'll come looking for whoever gave them false information. Which leads back to me. Which leads to evidence of poisoning my mother. He says it calmly, but she can see the tension in his shoulders. The trap is baited. Now they wait. The attempt comes on the 8th day. Not a break-in this time. Something more sophisticated.
She's in the kitchen when she notices the smell. Faint. Chemical. Wrong. She moves through the house carefully. The smell is stronger near the study. The door is closed. She opens it slowly. The son is at his desk. His head is tilted back. His breathing is shallow. She runs to him. Checks his pulse. It's slow but steady. She opens the windows. Fresh air floods the room. Marcus. She shakes his shoulder. Wake up. His eyes flutter. What? Gas. Someone vented gas into the study. She helps him to his feet. We need to get you outside. They make it to the garden before he collapses. She lowers him to the grass. His breathing is steadier now but still labored. Call Claire, he manages. She does. Claire arrives within 10 minutes. She takes one look at the son and makes a phone call. It's happening, she says into the phone. Send the team. She hangs up and kneels beside the son. The police are coming. And my people. We'll secure the house. They tried to kill me, the son says. His voice is weak but clear. They tried to incapacitate you. If they wanted you dead, they would have used something stronger. Why? Because they need you alive to sign over the network. A dead man can't transfer assets. Within the hour, the house is full of people. Police detectives. Claire's security team. Forensic specialists who find the gas line that was tampered with. Richard is arrested the next morning. So are 3 of his associates. During the interrogation, Richard's lawyer cuts a deal. Full cooperation in exchange for reduced charges. Richard provides evidence of the organization's operations, including proof that the son's mother was poisoned. The proof is simple. A recording. Richard and another man discussing the operation. The other man's voice is cold and clinical as he describes the poison. Tasteless. Undetectable in standard autopsies. Mimics heart failure perfectly. We couldn't let her close down the network, the man says on the recording. Too much money at stake. Too many clients depending on it. The son is easier to control. Once the mother was gone, we'd have leverage. The recording is dated 2 days before the son's mother died. The police exhume the body. Run specialized tests. Find traces of the poison. Richard's trial is brief. He pleads guilty. Gets 15 years. The house on Marriott Street is sold. The son moves to a smaller place across the city. Somewhere with better security and fewer memories. The housekeeper stays with him. Not as a housekeeper anymore. As something else. An assistant. A colleague. A friend. They don't talk about what happened. There's no need. The knowledge sits between them like a shared scar. One evening, 6 months after the trial, they're having dinner when he speaks. I never thanked you, he says. For what? For staying. For not running when you could have. She sets down her fork. Your mother gave me something I needed. A place where no one was looking for me. A chance to be someone else for a while. And now. Now I'm someone different again. She considers. But closer to who I actually am. He nods slowly. My mother always said you reminded her of herself. I understand why now. Is that a compliment? Yes. I think it is. They finish dinner in comfortable silence. Later, she cleans the kitchen while he listens to music in the living room. The routine is familiar. Safe. As she washes the dishes, she thinks about the old woman. About her final words to her son in those letters. About the medication she took every night without question, trusting the people around her. Trust is a dangerous thing. But sometimes, in the right circumstances, with the right people, it's the only thing worth having. She dries her hands and turns off the light. Through the doorway, she can see the son in his chair. His eyes are closed. His face is peaceful. She thinks he might be sleeping. But as she passes, he speaks without opening his eyes. The network is closed. The contacts are gone. But people still call sometimes. Asking questions. Looking for connections. What do you tell them? That it's over. That they need to find someone else. Do they believe you? Some do. Others. He opens his eyes. Others keep looking. She understands what he's saying. We'll handle them if they come. Yes. We will. She leaves him there and climbs the stairs to her room. The house is quiet around her. Outside, the street is dark and still. No surveillance cars tonight. No threats in the shadows. Just an ordinary house on an ordinary street where two people are trying to build something resembling a normal life. It's not much. But it's enough. She turns off her light and lies down in the darkness. Sleep comes easier now than it did 6 months ago. The nightmares have faded. The constant vigilance has softened into simple caution. In the morning, there will be breakfast to make and calls to return and the ordinary business of living to attend to. But tonight, in this moment, there's only silence and safety and the knowledge that sometimes the people we help are the ones who help us in return. The house settles around her. She closes her eyes and lets herself rest.